What's going on, guys? We are here with another episode of Stock versus Not. Today we are in our last Dodge product, and in typical Stock versus Not fashion, it's in something that typically you probably would never see on an actual road course. That is the 2018 Challenger SRT Demon. And for those of you who do not know that vehicle, that is the one that basically Dodge made as a factory drag car. Broke a whole bunch of records, came with the drag pack for like $1. Skinnies for the front, a box to have all your tools and whatnot. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with today. The SRT Demon, or just the Demon. What do we have here? 624 performance points, 840 horsepower from a supercharged V8 engine, 770 foot-pounds of torque, 4,200 pounds. It's a little nose heavy, being 58% in the front, 42% in the rear. Sports hards tires, and this is what we have going on for the alignment settings, differential gears, or whatnot. It is a 624 performance point car, so that drops it down to the 700 performance point category. And for the stock cars, that is going to be the ZR1, the C7 ZR1, which made 754 horsepower. That cut at 55.191. However, the C7 is a track-focused, or I say track as in like road course track-focused vehicle. This is a drag strip car. I have no idea how this thing is going to handle turning. But anyways, that's what we're here for. It looks like it's going to be hopefully somewhere around the 55-second lap if this car handles the way it needs to handle. You got that nice, what's it called, grabber blue, I think is the pink color. Dodge colors are some of my favorite. Dodge, Porsche, they make probably the best color combinations you can get currently in the market. Now, as you may know, the Challenger Demon has been discontinued as of, was it last year or this year? I forget what year it was, but no longer making them. So now's your chance to either get one to hold on to or just enjoy it from a distance. Same thing goes for like the TRX and all their other Hellcat inspired vehicles. Actually not terrible through the S's here. I was expecting this car just to be extremely oversteery and just not be too compliant with any steering input. This car is actually fairly composed on that course. 57.518 is our opening lap with it. So not bad at all. Definitely took that turn. Let's see, can we keep it? Yep, saved it. So, the Challenger. This is actually our first Challenger in the game that we are, or stock versus not, that we're doing. We did a Charger, a whole bunch of Vipers, and now the Challenger, which is essentially just the two-door version of the Charger, I would call it. And they both are extremely heavy cars, and both basically had the same ideology when it comes to what they're kind of used for. The Charger's kind of your family-friendly sedan that can potentially make 700 horsepower, and the Challenger was the coupe version of the Charger that made basically the same power because they were given the same power plants. And that's kind of how you had to choose your flavor of Dodge with these two sports cars. The Challenger, I think, looked great. Every model year they had for it, I think the design was nice. Definitely would prefer it over the Camaro. Like Camaro's kind of dropped off later on down the road with their design. The Challenger kind of kept true to its retro styling to kind of pay its respects to its classic 80s, 70s roots. I definitely like how the Challenger looks. If they only made them a little more lighter and not as boaty, I think they would have fared very well on a lot of road courses. And that's just, before we finish this off, this is what most of these cars are known for. That supercharger whine. Yeah, anyway, 57.204 was our best lap in the quote-unquote stock car that makes 840 horsepower. 57.014 would have been the optimal, so very good lap. It's a very good looking car. The Demon got everything that you could potentially get for that car. So wide body, the highest output engine, blah 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 blah. Let's see where we are on the 700 performance point leaderboard. 57.204, which actually, now that I'm looking at it, makes sense because these other cars came with the sports medium tires. I would suspect that if we got the mediums, we probably could have shaved off a few more seconds on it. So actually not a bad lap for having the most horsepower out of all the stock cars and having lesser grippy tires. So very interesting that they did that for this car though. Okay, can't believe I'm saying it. We're gonna go ahead, swap to a fully modified one. So not only do we have a wide body Challenger, we wide body the wide body. So it's even wider than what it typically is. Let's hop to the settings and see what we got going on. 1100 horsepower, we need racing soft tires for this. 800 performance points, actually almost exactly 800 performance points. 935 foot-pounds of torque. 33, just a little bit under 3,400 pounds, sorry. That is with the added ballast to get it to the 50-50 weight distribution. If you were to not add ballast and keep the stock weight distribution, I believe it put it around like 2,900 pounds, so that's something to keep in mind of. Here's what we got going on for our alignment. And here is our fully customized racing fully customized racing LSD. 2020 is what I found works best for it. Here is our aerodynamic settings. Like I said earlier, we do have ballast set up. Fully customizable racing transmission. That 360 mark, I think, typically is what I like for most of these high output cars. Like I said, I don't really mess with manual adjustments, just that top speed adjuster, and we are good to go. As for the bolt-ons, intercooler, high-end supercharger. Here are the other bolt-ons here. And we have every single weight reduction possible, and here are the engine parts that are also installed. So we are in the 800 performance point ranking board, which is going to just barely get us onto the 900 board. Oddly enough, it is not the fastest thing on the 900 leaderboard. Actually, it's actually on the lower end here, being 1100 horsepower. So we're looking at about a 50-second lap. Are we gonna make it? That is the question. So we started it off in that blue color, and we're gonna finish off Dodge in its signature red paint that most Dodges have been known for over the years. This car has 8 gears, in case you guys were wondering. We are never going to touch gear number 8 on this short circuit of Suzuka. And to be completely honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised about how well this car handled when I was practicing with it. I was expecting it to be extremely just loose and just so much power and torque that the car was just not going to be usable anymore. But no, it's actually almost driving like how the Camaro did once we modified it many videos ago. I remember I had said that it was a great driving car. 50.142, called it right on the dot. Let's see if we can get any more out of it. The brakes on this car, when upgraded, are actually very nice. If you actually notice, there being a 1,000 horsepower car, we're actually braking a lot closer to that 200 meter board, where typically we have to brake a lot earlier than that. So that is a very interesting fact there. Not sure if it's the downforce and aerodynamics giving it a hand there, or just the sheer weight of the car not really letting it get up to speed, but nah, that was very interesting to see there. 49.152, we're just knocking it down. Let's see how much deeper we can go with this. Oh yeah. And this is actually not a bad car to drive now that it's, you know, it has suspension and tires, and even with the power, it's not overwhelming. Definitely you need to have that LSD intervene with that torque. I mean, almost 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. You're gonna need some sort of LSD intervention coming out of turns just to make sure that the front end is still facing the front and you're not doing any type of reverse entries into chicanes or anything like that. 48.651. I'm actually thoroughly enjoying this car. Let's see how much deeper we can go. Getting closer to that 100-meter board. Oh, that might have been its limit there, but we're gonna keep on chugging here. Didn't quite lose too much on it there. Might be able to get some through here. I actually am enjoying this car a lot now. The stock one wasn't terrible, but this one is actually very fun to drive. It kind of sucks that it's going to fall under that 900 performance point category. Not too many races allow you to go 800 on like the single player ones, or I guess you have to go with like an online lobby, see if someone has something like that. But at that point, there's a lot of other options you can mess with at that performance point range. Oh, we were a lot quicker through turn one here. That was fast. I'm gonna sound like a broken record. This car is very nice. I don't even know if I'm gonna be getting any more better lap times out of it, but it's easy to drive, and it's not an absolute. It's not as boat-like as you would have thought it would be. All right, looks like we're averaging at a 48, so we're just gonna call it. And even the optimal is a 48.146. If you guys want to take a quick loop around what it looks like, not much different. It's absolutely thick. Yeah, big old tires, splitter. I've always been a fan of this style spoiler for these cars, that like that deck lid with that additional like clear little piece in the middle. And it's funny, the reason why I think most manufacturers do the deck lid with that little cutout in the back, let me go back there, is because it's for what's it called, for visibility through the rear view mirror, so they make it clear. But obviously just a clear piece of plexiglass will get you going. But yeah, not a bad car at all. Not a bad car. Let's see where it lands us in the leaderboard. Might actually make a top 10 appearance. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it is number 8. Just beat out the Charger by a few tenths there, and just behind the GTS, the second gen Viper. So not a bad car at all, all things considered, when we're talking about drag cars. And this one here is number 7 on the 900 performance point board. So not bad at all. If you remember, I believe the Viper GTS, the 13, had the Chiron engine, so that one was swapped. But yeah, for being a Dodge power plant, making it up to the top 10, not a terrible car at all. So anyway, that concludes the Dodge lineup in stock versus not. We're going to move over to the European market next. I do not know what car company is next on the list, but we'll be moving there, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.